because a lot of the black community in Toronto is either Caribbean or African, a lot of them don't rock with hip-hop as much.
Really?
They rock with their cultural music or straight-up gospel music. So it's hard for us to break into that community. It's a little harder than it is over here. A lot of times, like you see even Lecrae and these guys come to Toronto, and it's all kids from the outskirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coming from like a couple hours outside of Toronto, packing up the place. You know what I mean? Toronto's kind of a hard sell for hip hop when it comes to that.
Yeah, like I see like DJ Nicholas, Jason Mighty, like them dudes hitting.
Yeah, because the
hit
Caribbean
Toronto
vibe
all the time,
exactly,
bro.
right? Exactly, right. So
let's get the people what they want. The Wade-O Radio Show.
Yes, DJ Wade-O. Dru Bex is in the building. You
What's
just
up?
leaving me hanging out here though, bro. I'm out here.
I got you, man.
Left down, we good, man. How you been, man?
pretty good, man. Feeling good.
That's good, man. It's good, man. Down here in Brooklyn.
Yeah, man. Feeling mad blessed to be here. I watch you all the time, you know. So I'm just
That's crazy.
Feeling mad blessed right now, you know.
This your first time in New York?
Since like 1999, I think.
Oh
I came
yeah,
here
that's
when I
way
was a
different,
kid.
bro.
Yeah.
You know, we had these two buildings.
Yeah, you know, I heard about these buildings that used to be here, and you know, but yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, bro. So let me start here, bro. How did you kind of connect with Role Model Records, bro?
I mean, I was doing my thing in the city. They were doing their thing. I'd heard about Shopé back
And you
when
was just so hot. They was like, yo.
No, it actually started with a trip to South by Southwest. I was
Okay.
looking for a ride, and they had a ride, and we were like, all right, let's just arrange to go up together, or go down together, and we were just building while we were in Texas, and
Hold up, y'all drove from Toronto to Texas?
we drove from Toronto to Texas.
Man, y'all had no choice.
It was like 30 something hours, 40 hours. Yeah, so we connected exactly, right? So long time in the car. We connected, and then when I got back, when we all got back home to Toronto, we were just like, it just makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing. I need the support of a team. They're doing their thing, you know what I mean? So it just made sense
That's good
for us to
man.
connect.
And plus 30, 40 hours. I mean, I'm like really tripping about
Yeah,
that.
you got it, man. Yeah, and that wasn't the first time. That wasn't the last time we did it.
Wow.
We drove to LA too. That was like 30 hours itself.
That's commitment,
Yeah,
man.
and we did like a show in LA and then came back. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's what's up, man. That's good, bro. I was telling you, man, before we went on the air, like I really dug your project, man.
Yeah, that means a lot coming from you, man.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
real.
it's because so let me say this: you had some really dope features, but all the features made sense. Like it didn't feel like you just threw these features on there because.
Yeah, it was very intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how I mean, walk me through that.
So basically, when it comes to that, like I listen to a lot of Christian rap, and I keep my ear to the ground. And there's a lot of people who I see coming up, and their talent is just like my girl JBTZ. She's actually from Jersey, I believe.
Yeah.
So I've had I've been listening to her since she first started, like her first video that she put on Rapzilla, and I reached out to her and said, hey man, you're dope. I just want to encourage you. Anything you need from me. And we developed a relationship, and there's a lot of people like that I kind of connected with, and I just said, yo, and I was right. The good thing is I developed those relationships, and when it came time for me I would have got them on the feature whether they're popping or not, but it just so happens that when it came time for me to call them in for a feature, they were buzzing, you know what I mean, because their talent was such that people had finally started to realize and recognize. So it worked out in my favor because I got like Ty Brazzle and the New Black and all these people who are now buzzing. But when I first reached out to them and first kind of connected with them, they were just kind of, bubbling a little bit. So that's the way I operate, you know what I mean? Like the feature has to make sense. In the past, I would just like go for anybody I can get. And the song would be hot for a while, but then it would fizzle out and it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like you could tell it wasn't organic, right? So that's my approach these days.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think, one of the things that I really dig about the way a lot of music is made now is that I feel like people have more integrity in terms of what they're doing. And that's what I hear you saying. It's like, if you can't sit with the song 6 months from now because of the feature you got, and it was like, you don't really, you know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes there's a lack of integrity with that.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're 100%. You're 100%, man. I had songs that like, I'm like, oh, this is the one. I got this feature and that feature, you know what I mean? Like I had a joint with Social Club way back in the day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it. I'm like, yo, man, because they were already like, popping then, and I was like, that's it. But like you said, like I love Social Club, and you know what I mean, like God bless those guys, but you could tell it wasn't like, you know what I mean, I kind of just said, who's popping right now? Social Club? Okay, I'm gonna get those guys, you know what I mean? Instead of saying, okay, who do I actually think fits the record, who fits my sound, you know?
Do you feel like there's a certain chemistry that comes when you have like a real relationship with a person? as opposed to you just
for sure.
admire them musically.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, the relationship can start with the music. It really can. You know what I mean? But you have to like foster the relationship. Like it can start with, yo, I like your music. You know what I mean? That's usually where it starts in our field. Like dude, like Jared Sanders. You know what I mean? Like hit me up, yo, I like your song Running Man. And then from there we developed a relationship. And then from there the feature came about. You know what I mean? Like it started with him liking the music, and that's often where it starts. But if you don't have the relationship, it's definitely not going to be organic. You know what I mean? And people can, and the listeners can tell. They can tell. They can hear it, and they can be like, that doesn't sound organic. You know what I mean? So,
from your vantage point, because you know, a lot of us, particularly that live in the States, that are into Christian rap, we don't know about the music scene in Canada.
Yeah, for
unless
sure.
you go up there, right? You've been fortunate. You've come down here to do shows. Obviously, you've been a huge part of the scene up there. What are some of the similarities and differences to what's going on in Toronto? And obviously, I mean, let's be honest. Since the explosion of Drake and that whole movement,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
there's like a whole other spotlight that's on the Six now that maybe wasn't there before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the talent's
No
always
offense
been
to
there.
Cardinal official, but you know.
No, the talent's. It's funny you mentioned Carter now because people hear Drake now doing the Caribbean stuff, and they say he stole it from somebody, but it's really that, or he stole the culture, but it's really that's the vibe in Toronto.
Yeah,
it's really Caribbean influenced. That's why when Cardi was doing his thing, the Caribbean was out.
Hard.
And Drake did it more subtle. He came in. He didn't come in like that because he knew that he wouldn't be accepted. So he came in more subtle. He came in kind of sounding like American, whatever. And now that he's on top, he's like, all right, I'm going to bring out the Caribbean vibes. He's not Caribbean himself, but coming from Toronto, the whole vibe is just Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So the Caribbean thing definitely works to our favor because it's popping right now, and you know, for us it's natural, right? But it also because a lot of the black community in Toronto is either Caribbean or African, a lot of them don't rock with hip hop as much.
Really?
They rock with their cultural music or straight up gospel music. So it's hard for us to break into that community. It's a little harder than it is over here. A lot of times, like you see even Lecrae and these guys come to Toronto, and it's all kids from the outskirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coming from like a couple hours outside of Toronto, packing up the place. You know what I mean? Toronto's kind of a hard sell for hip hop when it comes to that.
Yeah, like I see like DJ Nicholas, Jason Mighty, like them dudes hitting.
Yeah, because
they
the
hit
Caribbean
Toronto
vibe
all the time.
Exactly,
bro.
right? Exactly, right. So it's challenging in that way, but it's definitely coming up with the success of OVO, of course.
Sure.
A lot of dudes are saying, okay, it's time for us to get the Christian side popping, and you know, it's starting to happen, man.
What about even outside of Toronto? Like I know Vancouver's like literally on the other side of the
Vancouver's
country.
far.
But even Ottawa and some of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's cats out there, man. I mean, one dude that he actually got nominated for a couple of Grammys. I'm not sure if he won any of them, but Fresh IE.
Yeah.
He's from he was doing this thing for a while now. He actually he's from Manitoba, which is the next province over.
Okay.
But it's still really far. It's the next province.
I knew he was from Canada. I remember.
Yeah, he's from Manitoba. He's actually part of the Native community, and
Okay.
which is huge in Manitoba. They got like a huge Native community, and he's so
that's like a whole other vibe.
that's a whole other vibe. So he actually won or was nominated for Grammys that had to do with just his cultural Native community, right? But his music is dope too, and he's from Manitoba, which is the next province over, which most of us never go to because it's mad far. Like it's closer where we are now than going over to Manitoba.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's crazy.
But aside from that, I can't think of. I'm sure there's dudes out there that are just slipping my mind right now, but a lot of the focus is in the Toronto area for sure.
Yeah, because that's like by far the biggest black population in.
For sure, yeah. Toronto for sure. Montreal's got a sizable, especially Haitian population. Aside from that, there's sprinkles, but Toronto is definitely the hub.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, where do you see yourself going musically, bro?
I'm trying to just like I feel like I've been doing it for a while now, but I feel like I finally just touched on my sound, like my zone. You know what I mean? And
I feel like that too, bro.
Yeah, I finally touched on that
something with this album.
That sweet spot. You know what I mean? And people are saying that.
Yeah.
So and things are. My social media numbers, everything is reflecting that.
Oh, that's dope.
So I'm like, all right,
that's dope.
Okay, God, you know what I mean? It's not your time, it's my time. If it was up to me, I would have done this 10 years ago. I would have been here, you know what I mean? But God opened up the door now, and he's lined up things in a way where it's like, okay, I finally, when I was trying to find something unique about myself to do, I was having a hard time like, what flow can I use? And I was racking my brain. And then when I stopped trying so much and just started being organic, everything just came. You know what I mean? And now it's like I hear a beat. Before it was like I'd hear a beat and be like, oh man, how am I gonna rock on this? You know, what flow am I gonna choose now? I do what Dru Bex does. You know what I mean? I hear a beat and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be Dru Bex on that beat. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling nice about it. So I got ideas. I got singles. I'm about to drop I got so much music coming out. I got a lot of stuff coming out, man. I'm excited.
What do you think helped you get to this point though? Like where there's that comfort level?
Yeah.
Because the reality is this, bro. Like most creatives, you struggle to find that spot that you're at right now.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta give a shout out to the people who have been in my circle. The label has definitely said, hey, why don't you try this as far as your performance and all of that. I listen a lot. That's something that's very important. You have to listen. You have to be a student. Like I came in recognizing that a lot of dudes are younger than me, but I said, you know what? I'm not gonna watch that. I'm just gonna humble myself and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to some of the older dudes. I'm gonna listen to the younger dudes. I'm just gonna listen and take notes and just study the game. Be a student of the game. You know what I mean? So I really, even on the ride here, Ruslan was giving me some tips, and I'm like, you know what? Now I have something new to add to my arsenal, and I do that, and that's definitely been the key to my success. Just like taking notes and realizing that I'm never gonna be, at my limit. Just keep rising, keep working, until God says put the mic down. So
that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. So since you don't want to put the mic down, what if I put a beat on?
I mean, you can do it, man. Let's see what you got.
You think you got something?
Yeah, I got something.
How's that?
Yeah. Yo. Look. Yo. Woo. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Look. Yo. Listen. Hold up. We are now taking over the program. By we, I mean myself, Dru Bex, plus weight on my bro ham, slow jams. Plus, I got bars like Roseanne. Bring a word, a brother will swing a sword like Conan. Old hands up in the air, they recognize how I compare to other guys that they revered back in the old lands. New world, youngins, love the way that I summon flows that usually say nothing, but love that I'm saying something. Brothers will pray in public, not ashamed of the gospel. When defending the scriptures, I'm not afraid to get hostile. And depending on listeners, some will say that I'm awful, cause every song isn't always with much in making apostles. Life, love, just some of the things I speak on. If you're married, I might give you something to get your eons in the making. It feels like I've been on a fantastic voyage, waiting forever just to see y'all.
Nice. You want something to get their freak on, right? My brother. Love it, man.
Wado Radio.